Beast.
Yo, what's going on, y'all? It's your boy Beast, and we're here with episode 1 of the Beast Breakdown, baby. I don't know if we're really gonna call it that, but if we ever do any more group discussion videos with any other content creators or any of my other friends, that's probably what I'll be calling it for now. But you know, we have Sonic Movie 3 news coming. We have Sonic and Shadow Generations coming out later this year. It's Shadow's year right now, and there's just so much mess going on right now, and there's a lot of room for discussion. And so I have my boy Skills with me. You want to introduce yourself?
Not really, bro. Literally, when you hopped on, you're like, "Hey, Beast Breakdowns." It sounded like you were flirting with me. I have headphones on, though.
Bro, of course I was.
Bro, you gotta chill out.
I was. I don't know why you. I wasn't playing around.
Look, bro, you can't be having me blush out here like this. I'm a grown man. I'm gonna need you to calm down. My man said Beast Breakdowns. I said, sir, sir. Nah, but yeah, it's your boy Skills. I'm out here with the homies. It's me. It's Beast, J Blast. I haven't talked to my guys in a minute, but we're gonna go through and talk about some of the Sonic news going up. I'm not as much of a aficionado as these two, but I've had my fair share of Sonic experiences. And I grew up with the game, Sega Genesis. I played a bunch of Sonic adventures too, and I played too much Battle. Sonic Unleashed is still the GOAT for me, so let's hope that I can contribute in ways.
Right, and your boy Skills, you know, that's like my mentor, low key. Like, he taught me how to edit, was teaching me how to play Street Fighter, teach me how to Hadouken and everything. Like, that's my
man. I forgot about
that. So, bro, this fool, we're at a Smash tournament. We used to organize Smash tournaments at our undergrad, or just fighting game tournaments in general. And he had the only Street Fighter setup. And I asked him, I was like, bro, you teach me how to play? And literally for 30 minutes, all he made me do is he brought me to the training room with the lines in the ground, and he had me like line up space perfectly, and all we did was Hadouken each other for 30 minutes, just sitting there micro spacing, just Hadouken over and over and over again. That's all he made me do, just footsies, just not even, he did it, I was the definition of a grasshopper.
Bro, that's how you learn, bro. It's moments like those.
Nah, for real, he's the GOAT. I'm gonna plug everybody's channels below, and so, you know, Skills is a really crazy good editor, crazy good at fighting games, and so make sure you check out my boy. And I also have the boy J Blast from the J Blast Network. Come introduce yourself for me.
What's up? It's J Blast Network. Yeah, I've been making retrospectives on games. I'm behind on a lot of games, so that's why certain Sonic videos aren't out. But you know, Sonic's my favorite series, so I gotta be on here talking about it. And you know, Skills, that's my mentor too, mainly in design and editing, because fighting games, he kind of just brutalized me. I played Dead or Alive with him. And
bro, he brutalized all of us.
No. I mean, like, this was like this was hatred. I was just trying to play the game. I was on PlayStation there just to play the game with folks. It was hatred in that man's eyes.
I was like, I
almost got kicked out of the building.
Dang, it was that much of a murder.
Yeah, you go mad? She going okay.
Bro, DOA is so funny. People don't know. DOA is one of my all-time.
I didn't know all this tech and DOA. I'm just getting bodied. Yeah, like I done freaking blew up his car or something.
Oh man, I'm sorry, Jay. I didn't mean to do it to you. I mean, I did mean to do it to you. I didn't think it's sting you that hard, bro.
Yeah, I thought I was playing Emery Reigns. It's a pro DOA player.
So for the new stuff that's coming out this year, I want us to go a little bit more deeper into before we run out of time. So since J Blast, since you're the most handsome and most beautiful, I'll ask you first. I want to ask you how you feel.
Appreciate it.
Okay. I'm gonna chill.
I'm not
relax.
Listen, when it's not like
I'm not, bro. But J Blast, it's not my fault, bro. Like that's just who he is. Like, you gonna be mad at me 'cause I told the truth? Okay, let me chill. But so Jay, so you want to quickly summarize all your thoughts you have about Sonic movie 3 and about the newest trailer that came out?
So I think that the director Jeff Fowler, if y'all don't know, Jeff Fowler worked on the cutscenes for Shadow the Hedgehog when it was coming out. He worked on those cutscenes. So like,
Right, the game.
So Shadow the Hedgehog is like his favorite character, and it's he feel like that's his baby because he worked on he worked on his first spinoff, his first and only spinoff, and then Izuka, Sonic. He's not the creator of Sonic, but he is like the lead of Sonic Team now. He was there back when Sonic 3 was made. He's been there since Sonic 3, so he's important. He says Shadow is his favorite character. So like all of this stuff he's doing, he's trying to get Shadow right in people's eyes, like what he wants Shadow to be. And so I think Jeff Fowler said that they're taking elements from both the Shadow the Hedgehog game and the Sonic Adventure 2 game to make Shadow's story. And we haven't seen Black Doom in that trailer, like at all. And Black Doom is important. So I was thinking like, Gerald's in the trailer, in the very end of the trailer. It's crazy. I love what the movies are doing, by the way. I didn't get to say that. I do love what they're doing with it. I know some people are like, it's not like the games, but I like the direction they're going in. It feels like the Archie comics where it was different. Well, at least the Archie comics when they first started, where it was different and it was cool. So I hope they can keep that momentum. I'm fine with it being different. It doesn't need to be exactly like the games for me. Just need to tell a good story. But I think Gerald is not Gerald. I think that's Black Doom. Because Gerald's supposed to be dead too. Right. And even if he's not Black Doom, I do think the boss. I don't think the final boss. I don't think the final enemy they fight is gonna be the Bio Lizard.
You don't think it's gonna be Bio Lizard? I think
it's gonna be Black Doom mixed with the Bio Lizard or something. I think it's gonna be something like that. And that's why I think because Gerald's gonna try. I think Gerald's gonna try to destroy the Earth. And wait a minute, you're crazy. I just want to rule the Earth, like he did in the game.
Sam, so what are your thoughts? Got any theories as well? I haven't had them as two separate points, but we can just add them together. If you have any theories about what's gonna happen with the story, and also what are your just overall thoughts about Sonic Movie 3?
So we just had Frontiers. And now we have Sonic Generations X Shadow, and we have the Sonic 3 movie drop. I do like the idea, because it's weird, because Sonic Adventures 2 was loved so much that people would like to see. It's weird to say, because it's not that people want the same exact thing per se. They just want something that feels...
I do.
Okay, all right, so look.
I got a story with that game, but I want to save it. Y'all go ahead so we can continue on this topic.
Yeah, we're gonna save it. Sorry, Sam. Sorry for interrupting you.
Beast, you did ask me a question. Let me say this. I am so grateful for Sonic Adventure 2 Battle, and I had this conversation not long ago. That game is one of the biggest factors to my exquisite palette when it comes to my music.
Yep.
Legitimate. Yep. And yet Shadow stages, where you had the rock music, but then you had the dark industrial. And here's what's really interesting. I read this on YouTube, I want to say at the beginning of the year. And you guys tell me what you think about this. They said that when you listen to Shadow and it goes dark and you start hearing the voices, they said that's his subconscious talking to him. Because Shadow is borderline going crazy. And what's happening is he's basically having a conversation with him where he's remembering who he is and hitting him, but he's in denial. And so as he's traveling through the stage, things are happening to him. And so one thing that happened was when I think it was when Rouge was about to die and he was having the flashbacks. Like if you start to just listen to if you listen to the lyrics of the music for White Jungle, it's literally him talking to him and not reminiscing, but having like PTSD of what happened with Maria. When I read that theory and I went back and looked at the lyrics, this is a sick Negro. I was going to edit. I was like, oh my goodness, my man, he's breaking apart right in front of us. And then you can tell, like the way he's talking about it. And this is a conversation I had with these before we got here, right? People really fixate on what right and wrong is, and what truth is, and what lies are, but they never think about what beliefs are useful. And you hear Shadow talk about him being the ultimate life form, and him being a true hedgehog. And there's no telling whether or not he truly believes it. But maybe the closest he can get to having some sanity and being that is by announcing it to the world. And he may not ever become that, but the closest he'll ever get to it is by speaking it into existence.
Yeah, I agree. That was during that whole part, he's basically like questioning his whole like beliefs throughout the entire game, because he's not. One thing someone pointed out in the video was that like that's why it's kind of hard to make a video on this game. Like people point out stuff and I don't just want to repeat. I want to have my own analysis because I have stuff in it, but it's hard because they be making some good points.
Yeah,
but in Shadow's case, everything he does in the game is never for himself. Like from the beginning, it's never for himself. When he said the first time he comes out of the pod, he's not doing it for himself. He's doing it. Okay, you free me, I'll grant your wish. I'll fight this gun robot for you. Okay, since you free me, I'll give you another wish. I'll go to the ark, set up the ark, and fulfill Maria's wish. Like everything he's doing in the game is for somebody else. He never does anything for himself. And the funny thing about it is it's crazy how like it's a reflection or a literal shadow of Sonic's like motivations, because Sonic doesn't really do these like a lot of his stuff for himself. He just does it for others. But obviously in his version, he's the hero. He's like the light of the world. Every time he does it, it's for good. But Shadow is doing the same thing that he's doing, except for the bad. And obviously we know like it was wrong, like his memory was wrong, but still it's like a reflection. It's a shadow of Sonic. It's like, called Shadow.
I actually slightly disagree with what you're saying. I think Sonic is more, he does everything that Sonic does is for like internal validation. Like he does all the stuff that he does because he likes to do it, or because he wants to do it, or he helps people because that's what he wants to do, or he will fight this dude, he will race against Shadow, he'll fight Eggman just because that's like his internal, that's just, he lives life how he wants to, and that's the only reason why he does anything. Just like that's like something he says that he talks about even in his like theme song from SA1, that like it doesn't matter who's wrong or who's right. Like he does things intrinsically for himself, but Shadow, he does things for others. Like he dedicates his whole life, everything he does is because he's granting Eggman's wish, or he's doing it for Maria's revenge, or when he gets his full memories, he's doing it in Maria's memory. That's her last thing she wished for him. Protect the people on this earth. He becomes a gun agent, all because he's trying to keep Maria's promise. Like he's like, they're both guided by like the opposite things, which is like, I think that's an interesting like juxtaposition between the two. Yeah, like you're saying, the shadow.
I mean, you think about it too. Does what you're saying does hold true, because like it's the same way in Black Knight. When like one of the missions in that game,
Fool said, I don't care. I said, I'll be the villain. I said, I don't care.
He
Well, it might have been Secret Wings.
One of the missions in Black Knight, he had to go do this mission for Lady of the Lake. It was like Amy. It's not actually Amy. It's the Lady of the Lake. But in those games, they put the Sonic characters as the people. But he was supposed to run back to her after he finished it. But like this kid, like was like needing help on the road. I forgot what you had to do. I think you had to like save the villagers or something. Like the sword, freaking Excalibur is like, hey, we gotta like head back there to Lady of the Lake, finish her quest. He's like, nah, I'm gonna save this kid. And that was the actual part of the quest for him to say the kid didn't know, but he did it anyway. And that was like the Lady of the Lake in disguise. So he didn't end up passing the test from doing that. So he did it because he won. He kind of in a lot of ways. I know Izuka tries to say like, no, they aren't like Dragon Ball Z characters, but they both do kind of reflect Vegeta and Goku. Shadow is different from Vegeta. He still is inspired by Vegeta. I'll never let that down. In his design documents, it literally like part of it does say he's like Vegeta in his design documents. So just like he says, Future Trunks and Silver's design documents. So like Sonic in a way is kind of like Goku, because Goku You know, he does stuff that's heroic, but like the reason why he'll let like villains live to fight him again is because that's what he wants to do. He wants to fight them and get stronger. He doesn't necessarily want to kill people, even people like Frieza.
Right.
You fool.
But I guess kind of tying into that, how we're talking about like the characterization of Sonic. When it comes to like my thoughts with the third movie, or just the Sonic franchise in general, I get what they're going for, at least initially. Like, you know, they're clearly marketing it as like a children's movie for children to enjoy, not necessarily for like Sonic fans to enjoy. And so that was something that I didn't necessarily like the most. I mean, I'm all for having different interpretations of the same character. Like, you know, oh, these characters, you know, from the Sonic Prime show acts a little differently than from the games, or, you know, Sonic movie. He's his own little identity, his own universe. But of course, I'm more the fan of like that edgier, like that's like the Sonic. I don't know if y'all ever watched Sonic X as a kid, but I always liked the Sonic from Sonic X, from Sonic Adventure 2, and from Sonic Riders. Like I like the type, like the egotistical Sonic, like the fool who all his friends will be all in the crib chilling and laughing, talking, and Sonic will be in the corner with his legs kicked back and eyes closed. Like that's the Sonic I like. I like how he's and like, or like with Jet, that fool Jet. At the end of the game, Jet will pull up on him trying to race him again, and Sonic won't even say anything, just immediately race him. Like Sonic's the type of fool who always gonna give you your run back. Like he will beat the mess out of you and whack his finger at you and dance on you and laugh at you and everything, but he always gonna give you the run back just so he can prove that he's better than you.
Have you seen the European comic Sonic?
Nah.
You gotta read them. Sonic Duck comic.
You're talking about Fleetway?
Yeah, Fleetway.
Oh, okay.
You gotta read them. So that it's like the writer is real good, but the writer that wrote that, it's like kind of like that writer likes making stuff like that people's flaw, and because of that, in that stuff, Sonic is like a real. He has that, but he's like it's
oh yeah, he's mean in that game. Yeah, I mean
but
in that comic,
it costs him whenever he act like that. Like he'll say,
yeah,
he did that, and keep in mind in that version, if he goes Super Sonic, he goes crazy, he turns into this evil maniac. Whoa. And so obviously that's a bad thing. His friend had to get him out of it. The only way they could get him out of it was they had to act like they died in one of his attacks.
But yeah, I'm maybe not that far. That's a little too far for me. I like the more quiet, and he just like when Sonic and Shadow meet at the end of SA2, where he goes like, Shadow's asking him, he's like, "What are you?" And he just says, "What you see is what you get." Just a dude who loves adventure. Yeah. Like that's the Sonic I like. So like when it came with the movies, I wasn't really that big of a fan of like that characterization.
Say, what can I say? I die hard.
Oh yeah, that's.
Oh yeah. Cold. That's what I'm saying. Like fool would be like just the dialogue. Like that's just perfect. The mess they be saying. Like that's one of my favorite just cutscenes ever. But just with the movie as a whole, I am pretty excited for this new movie that's about to come out. But for a while, I'm not gonna lie, I like all my hype started to wane because of the freaking leaks about Rouge and Amy not being in the movie. I'm not gonna lie, like ever since Sonic Movie 2 and they showed, and I like Sonic Movie 2 a lot, even though like of course some of the dialogue, you know, obviously I'm an adult, and so you know I would have you know appreciated more if it was more catered towards me, but obviously this is a kids movie. But you know, End of Sonic Movie 2 was hype with Shadow coming in, and but then when it came to like the leaks, I of course Sonic Adventure 2 fanboy, of course I wanted the movie to be Sonic Adventure 2 the movie, and I was like, okay, bet. So the Knuckles show, they're obviously gonna introduce Rouge. Obviously that's how they're gonna bring Rouge into the story. So then by the time it gets to Sonic Movie 3, the only new person you would have to add, I mean a lot of people don't think you need Amy. I'm one of them fools who would have liked her in the movie, and especially because I really do like Agent Stone, like Dr. Eggman's like his like assistant in the movies. So like, you know, in the original SA2, it's really just the Sonic Knuckles Tails versus Shadow, Rouge, Eggman. But if you add Amy to the mix and you add Stone to the mix, then it's 4v4. So that's what, of course, I was, hopium copium. I was so excited. And then the leaks were coming out. And literally, I was so sad, bro, that I didn't even. I've always planned to do a reaction on the channel for When the Movie to watch the trailer. But I had a feeling my reaction was going to be so bad that I literally didn't even react to it. But, bro, that freaking trailer was fire, bro. Bro, the artist, the freaking the visual effects in that freaking trailer, bro, like whoever's doing the CGI on Shadow, bro, like they had some, it was like on par of like some, even though obviously this is not like an animated movie, like they had some stuff that's on some Miles Morales type energy, bro. Or like, I don't know if y'all ever saw the same studio that did Miles Morales, I think it's the same studio, but they have like the pictures of, they wanted to do a Batman.
Man, I remember. I was so pissed, and that's all that.
Yes, yes, bro. The future Batman, I forgot his name, but they did
Batman Beyond.
Yes, they had. They released like the images of when they like tried to like show off, like they're trying to pitch it, and like just the colors and everything, like they were showing Shadow that same kind of love, like it's on that same energy. I was not expecting
Jeff
that
Fowler,
at all.
bro. He said he said it's a baby.
Yes, bro.
That's his...
Nah, I believe it fully. So I'm like fully on the hype train, and yeah,
he worked on CGI cuts, all the CGI cutscenes he worked on Shadow the Hedgehog.
Yeah, I believe that fully. So I'd want to ask, am I the only fool who's like a little baby about Rouge and Amy, or are y'all just like fully like, oh, it's just the cinematic universe? J-Boss, what do you think?
I'm gonna tell you right now, y'all, I want to see Topaz. I had a crush on Topaz.
Who the hell is Topaz?
Sonic, you said you watch Sonic X, bro. Are you a fraud?
Who the hell is Topaz?
Are you a fraud?
Hey! I never said I finished that mess. I said I watched it. I didn't finish that mess.
The guns, bro. She's one of the.
Oh, you talking about? Oh yeah, the agent. Oh yeah. Oh no, for sure. They need to have her for sure, bro.
That
for
girl
sure.
was gonna be, because they hyped up that one girl that joined the cast. I thought she was gonna be Topaz. She's gonna be named that, but
for sure.
She's not named that. She's somebody else.
Exactly. They fumbled her.
The gun commander.
They fumbled her for sure.
The real gun commander is in there from.
Yeah.
He's the president.
Yeah, that's. Yeah, the president gonna be hilarious, bro. I need the limo scene.
They need to end the movie off with a scene. Is somehow to get a picture of Sonic and Shadow like he had in the game, where he was like the world.
Put it on his desk.
He's the heroes again.
But bro, I am kind of sad because like also with the obviously it's not a Sonic Adventure 2 movie, but like it doesn't seem like they're going down the route of Sonic being a vigilante like criminal. Like I understand the idea, like, oh, obviously in real life Shadow does not look like Sonic at all, but I feel like people don't take into account the idea of like, if Sonic is the only hedgehog the whole world knows, and they see some other kind of hedgehog doing some stuff, people would think it's Sonic because he's the only one. And especially if you could obviously circumnavigate that by just having Shadow do stuff at night and it's dark, you just see some kind of hedgehog full moving, you would think it might be Sonic. I don't know. I think they could have did it a little bit.
I got
why.
So again, I watched it on a video too, but a video and some other people pointed out to me. Now, I won't say this video, but I'll say it here. If you like Sonic Adventure 2, you need to watch Gundam. Like, I think that game is inspired by Gundam heavily. Char's Counterattack, but if you want to know about Char's Counterattack, the movie, you gotta watch 0079, the first Gundam, and then you gotta watch Zeta, and you gotta watch Double Zeta, so you can get to that point to understand everything in that movie. But that movie is inspiration from SA2, and I mean it from the imagery to the characters. Like Shadow and Char, not only their colors kind of match, but their personality kind of matches up. Like, I think Char is more insane than Shadow. It is more hurt than Shadow, and Amuro is like, the colors is like Sonic, but I mean not personality wise, but You have to see it
See
to
this?
see what I mean. But
th-
basically, in Gundam, it's like the Federation versus Zeon, but and Zeon will be the bad guys, the original. But like the Federation got some corrupt people in it too, and that's what like Data Gundam is about. Um, so Gun, in a way, is like the true enemy of SA2 because none of this would have happened if it wasn't for Gun. If Gun didn't go up and intervene and like shoot Maria and the sort of research, Joe would be mad. Shadow wouldn't have been captured. And notice how even when you go fight Eggman, who are you fighting? Got the game like every level you're fighting. No matter what, you're fighting gun robots.
And you find
In
gun
the
robots.
final level, you're fighting gun robots. Why are you still fighting gun robots in the final level? Like, what are you trying to say? All this stuff happened because of
Because
Gun.
they're the ops.
All this stuff happened because of Gun. And Shadow, you gotta remember that Shadow was supposed to be a secret project. He was not supposed to be a project that the public knew about. So obviously they're gonna say that, oh, that's Sonic, because they're trying to cover it up. It'd be like if something came out in our world, they would try to cover it up.
Yeah.
Like they would say, oh, it's this, and people would believe it, or people wouldn't believe it. But they would try to. That's what they tried to do, and we just don't see a lot of perspectives. There's just no time in the story to show a lot of perspective. Like, this guy's wrong. Our character's supposed to know it's like wrong, that it's not Sonic. But like we don't
Yeah.
we don't need to see their perspective.
I could def see that perspective.
But
But right, but you could, but yeah, I see what you're saying, and yeah, but that's why you got to get a J Blast in your life, bro, because or at least on your podcast, because the fool know everything.
I want to say about the movie too. Yeah, I agree with you that like I do think Amy and Rouge have been built up
About Rouge and
like to this movie.
yeah,
I know what they're trying to do. So the reason why these movies, I've been like studying film, watching this dude called Filmento and studying film, and he kind of breaks down why a lot of video game movies fail, and it's because they rely too much on the games. I don't think they're trying to make it to where the fans aren't like catered to per se. They do things like for instance in the Sonic 2 movie, there's a whole like sequence that's like similar to Ice Cap, right? But it's not like it's not like this. You got to look at it from Judo Bob perspective. It's not like they all of a sudden just get taken to Ice Cap from Sonic 3, put in that same exact scenario from Sonic 3 because Sonic 3 did it, and are in Ice Cap and then doing the same thing just because Sonic 3 did it, right? And the problem with the video game movie, like a lot of the bad ones, is that they expect you to be excited because it's just like in the games, rather than trying to write a movie that includes things like that, right? And so they're trying to write a whole story,
right,
of this new Sonic universe as its own thing, while still referencing the games. They can't just do things because Amy has to be here because that's how it was in the games, right? Or Rouge has to be here because that's how it was in the games. They can't just do that. That's why, and that would be 3 characters, because some people even say that Tails was like less developed in the second Sonic movie. Imagine they had to develop 3 new characters, 4 new characters really, because Gerald, like that would be too much. To give an example of those movies thing I'm talking about, in the new Mortal Kombat movie, right? They kept hyping up how they had all these characters like Melina, Natara, Reiko, things like that. But if you watch the movie, that's not Melina. It's not even that. It's not Melina. It's not the same character. It's just that Melina is just there to die, and that's it.
Yeah.
Right. Natara is there to die, and that's it. But it's supposed to be cool to us because it's the game characters, guys. It's Reiko. Remember them from Mortal Kombat 4? It's Natara.
Yeah.
It's Melina, your favorite character. We got him in the game. Clap.
It's fan service.
Yeah, it's just, and nobody cares about, like, general audiences don't care about these characters, and because of that, the movie fails. Like the fans hate it because they see their favorite characters just appear and disappear like animals in a zoo. It's not like the first Mortal Kombat movie where all the characters were central to the plot. Even the ones that kind of, like Scorpion and Sub-Zero, they do get beaten, but their fights are important. They feel impactful, especially that Scorpion fight with Johnny Cage. Like, it's impactful. If you never watched Mortal Kombat, You could watch that movie or never heard about Mortal Kombat. You could watch that movie and you be like, damn, that's a good movie. But if you watch the new one, you gonna have issues with everything, because it's just a lot of it is just we're doing it because the games do it. Oh, Jax loses his arms because he goes back to fight Sub-Zero. Why did you go back to fight Sub-Zero knowing you're just a regular ass military dude, and he's a freaking like mystic ninja?
Yeah. Mystic ninja, yeah.
What's happening?
He said.
To make another direct comparison, I think this is a better comparison. Look at the Mario movie. Like, the Mario movie takes ideas that were brought up about like in the Mario manuals and some of the story, but it doesn't just make. It's not just trying to make the first Mario movie again, or just take the exact Mario world, because we all know like that map ain't the Mario world. We know that, like, you know, Princess Peach was born in the Mushroom Kingdom. We know. We don't even see Brooklyn in like the actual Mario games. Like that whole plot point might as well be irrelevant. But they brought that, they took that aspect of it and they made a good story around it while having Mario elements in it. Right? They even explain how the power-ups work.
It on his
like,
head.
If this was like, imagine if they were making like a Mario 1 movie, they try to make it, oh, we can only use the mushroom and the fire flower. We can't use the cat or anything. You know, people know that Mario fights Donkey Kong at a point. But, you know, they didn't just make, you know, the Mario versus Donkey Kong original ladder and like, oh, remember this? This is how it was, and that's all it is. That's all the scene is. No, it's not just that Mario has to fight Donkey Kong because it's how it was in the games. It's happening because of the story. People understand it, right? And that's the same thing with the Sonic movies. You know, like, again, to get to the ice cap scene, what happens? They're trying to find. I had to watch the movie again, but I remember they were trying.
They go to ice cap because they're looking at trying to find like the.
Yeah,
map
they're trying to find the map so they can find the emerald. Yeah,
Master Emerald.
And so in doing that, they end up going. It happens to be in a snowy area. Now that snowy area, you're always like, oh look, it's the ice cap zone. No, it's just a snowy mountain. But there's elements in there like snowboarding down the mountain, up to being there in Sonic 3. There's elements in that, in the Avalanche, even connecting the Sonic Adventures ice cap. There's elements in that take from the games, but it's not just there because of the games. It's there because of the movie and the movie story. It serves the plot, right? That's why these other movies be failed. The Uncharted movie kind of failed. The Mortal Kombat movie kind of failed. They're too busy trying to have game things appear because they're the game things, and that's one thing I can appreciate about this movie. Like, even there's things I don't agree with the way they did certain things. They're not just having them appear, because with everything that Shadow has in his story, that's a movie. Like, that in itself is a movie. You know, then you got to add Rouge's gun history. Like, they try to make us really care about these characters. You know, not just having them appear. Because I ain't gonna lie, there was a lot of characters in the old series or in the game. Like, the Chaotix just appear, and that's it. Like, they look cool, but they just appear.
Yeah.
You know, and they're trying to make us care about Rouge, and they want Amy's introduction to be Amy's introduction because she's gonna be a part of the main cast. They don't just want her to just show up and be like. That's what I think. I think the next movie will be Metal Sonic.
That's actually a good point. You just saying that, like her being the main cast, I think it would be good if she would be in a Metal Sonic movie, so she can have that time, so she can be fully integrated into like the four, like that. I actually agree. I still think Rouge should be SA2. In Sonic Movie 3, I still stand by that. But actually, Amy, you could give her a better. I think that would work better with Metal Sonic and do like Sonic CD.
I have another theory for that movie too. I'll say it real quick. I think that the next movie could be Metal Sonic, but they could actually make it crazy and include Silver in it and make it like Terminator.
Yes.
Make it like Terminator 2.
That would be cool.
And like that way, because Planet of Disaster is gone.
He's coming back to stop Metal Sonic.
Again, like Imbliss and Mephiles are also one of those characters they can't touch. Like unless Sega wants them to touch it. So that way you can have this. There's a reason for Silver to be mad, right? Because if you think about it, the plot line kind of repeats itself. Of like, there's a misunderstanding. The rival fights them, and like they realize they're misunderstanding, and they fight with each other. Shadow's a bit different. The same thing happened with Knuckles. Same thing happened with Shadow. Same thing happened with Silver. You break down their base level of their rivalry. So to see that in the movie 3 times, it's gonna like audience gonna catch on to that. But if you make it the way they're doing it, and if they make that Terminator style thing with like Metal Sonic, it's gonna be a lot different than just having another person that's a rival with Sonic because of misunderstanding. Because now it's gonna be like, okay, well, yeah, you look like Sonic, even if that Metal Sonic is Sonic taking over itself, like in the Metallic Madness comic, and Silver comes back into the future, and maybe Amy stops him or something like that. That's what you could do. And Silver's, mad at Sonic. You think, oh, you're the one that caused the destruction of the Earth.
Or just the idea that Metal Sonic was made off his data, and that could be like the plot of the movie. Like Eggman is in the process of building and perfecting Metal Sonic, and Silver's basically trying to off him off before Metal Sonic can be perfected.
Yeah. And they already got the other dimensions. They can put Blaze in that. Not in that movie, but they can already got a Blaze excuse.
The different planets and stuff. Yeah, she could be the princess from another planet. And I do want to start talking about the game, the Sonic X Shadow Generations, but I do have like 2 small things I do want to say. I never saw the Mortal Kombat movies or Uncharted movie. I think and then like Resident Evil movies, like a lot of video game movies I admittedly have not seen. A lot that don't do well, but something I think about when it comes with like book movies, for example, or even with superhero movies, like basically I feel like you can put video game movies in that same category of movie of something that like has source material that like you have the opportunity to adapt, or loosely adapt, or you can just take the universe from. Like I think Mario did a good job in the sense that there's not really much story to take from. There's just pieces of there's just like a world. Then even the world is just very like pleasant. It's not like very deep or intricate or nothing. There's no like many set rules, or there's not much world building in Mario. So you're really just you basically just have an IP. You have these ideas, you can just make what you want. And but when I think about like
no, I'm saying Mario Maker. It's literally a game.
Yeah, Mario Maker. And but when I think about like book movies and like how so many book movies flop as well, those are the movies, they be flopping because they don't follow the source material. And when you think about some of like the greatest book movies, you think about like Hunger Games. Like if you ever read Hunger Games, especially that first book, it was very accurate to the book. Like as someone who like is like an avid reader, like especially when I was younger, like I used to love like basically like any young adult book movie that you can think of, like I read that mug. And so most of the ones that be flopping is because like they be changing stuff too much, or like the idea of like, or even stuff like Game of Thrones or whatnot. It's like fools thinking that you can perfect what's already been done. And so that's an issue. Or like change, or like this is set out for you, but like, oh, I'm gonna change it, instead of keeping the same. So like there's like pros and cons to adapting or not adapting. And with some stuff, especially with like very fleshed out stuff, I think being more adherent to the source material works in the favor. Especially like people love the book, it's a national bestseller, so obviously just adapt what's already working for you instead of thinking that you can improve on it. But then like obviously if it's looser like Mario, maybe you don't need to do that. Or maybe if it's like more convoluted, or it's something like like I said, I didn't watch the Mortal Kombat shows. I know you're complaining about like, oh, the characters, like, oh, they only got a little bit of time, or like stuff didn't make sense. But I wonder, is that the fault of them trying to adhere to the story, or is that the fault of like poor adaptation? Or is that the fault of like,
because they didn't need to have all them in there, and like they had characters introduced from like multiple games, like Reiko, Mortal Kombat 4, Matar, Deadly Alliance. They had their own game to show up and show out, right? Where you putting all these things to a movie, and because they're just meant to be fatality slaughter, right? They might as well be some random goons, because all they're there for is to be fatality. You don't have Reiko's story of him potentially being Shao Kahn. You don't have like Melina's Hope mode. Melina's probably the worst example, or the worst of it, worse than him, because like she's very important.
And the more I think about it, bro, the more I think about it, also when you think about when those movies came out, like think about what has changed since then. I don't know what year they came out, but I'm pretty sure they came out before, or I'm maybe thinking of the Street Fighter movie, but like you realize Marvel has also changed the game a lot. So like I feel like if it wasn't for Marvel, like what did Marvel do? They established this whole universe. There's a lot of characters to draw from. So they started off with just Iron Man, and then Iron Man and Hulk, or Hulk was first, Hulk, then Iron Man, then you add them together, then you put them together. Right. Just like Sonic movies, start off with just Sonic. Now Sonic tells Knuckles. Now Sonic tells Knuckles Shadow. Like you don't just throw everybody in there. Even the Mario movie, there's only Mario, Luigi, DK, Bowser, Peach, and then they're gonna do Yoshi in the next movie.
And the funny thing about that
movie
is that like there again, like we talk about how they just have elements of the games in there. You know, King Bob-omb, you know, my goat, you know, the first boss of Mario 64, he's in the movie, but he's not like an actual character. He's in the background, and he plays part of the fight because they blow him up.
Yeah,
they're fighting. But that's a cool thing. It's like, to me, I'm like, that's really cool. But they didn't try to make him like, here he has to be a bomb on battlefield, and we have to fight him here because that's how the game did it. No, he's just an element of the movie. But it's still
he was a tried and true, right? It was like a tried and true cameo in a sense.
Yeah, so you gotta know who's gonna be the camp. You can't just try to throw everything in there all at once and then try to. That's not the proper way, especially a video game or just anything, just even books as well. That's also the issue, that there's more hours. The story is gonna be longer in the games or in the books than trying to put in a 2-hour movie. So that's also, it's very difficult.
I did enjoy it. You all forgive me. Yeah, I think it's just one of those things where precedent is there. There are examples of it happening. They don't have to sit there.
Yeah, it's like successes and failures.
You don't have to throw the characters in. Just throw the characters in there. You can literally say, like Jay just showed or exemplified, if a character has a comedic trait or a special trait, you have the character do that thing. Going back to say the Mortal Kombat example, I think if I understood correctly, I think it was Smoke or Reptile, quote unquote character. No, Smoke was a secret character in the tree stage, Evil Forest in Mortal Kombat 2. But I think they're talking about like Scarlet. They had like theories about Scarlet and stuff like that.
Yeah.
When you have stuff like that going, you could always tease those things, as opposed to trying to make them seem important just to cast them off. And so for the Sonic movie, right, you can have Amy pop up randomly in this new movie, maybe because they're looking back at or something comes up and Amy gets a brief cameo. It's like, oh shit, is Amy going to be in the next movie? They didn't make her seem so important, but it's almost like a teaser, whether it be her and Rouge. I think it was at the end of the first Sonic, Tails at the very end, and they gave a hint like Tails is going to be in there. It doesn't have to be at the end of the movie, but there are many things you can do in the middle of a movie to show like, okay, these characters model, they already have maybe a voice, and you're not promising anything, but it gets people talking. And we may complain if they're not there, but we won't complain like, why'd you bring them here that was a waste of an opportunity with a great character. So there are ways to do it. They just got to be smart on how they do it. And there's precedent. Because sometimes, to be honest with you, if they don't, I'm not saying it's a budget thing, but if they don't want to utilize the characters because they can't find a way to put them into the script properly, I'll just put it like this. You can't win everything. And sometimes you have to take an L. But you can still minimize the L. So at least try to do justice by the characters, the cameo you do give them.
Yeah. Actually, to bring a game, this is my last example, to bring a game example to that, Two Beasts, they got Sonic Forces, right? They got all the cast in that game, and what do each of them do? Nothing. Nobody does nothing. Somehow you got all these powerful characters that we established in games. They're able to fight. We got Sonic Heroes,
General Knuckles.
Establish this stuff. You got Tails, who was
they have Silver back in that hole. Yeah. Silver back from the future.
There, who was able to fight Chaos, who was able to fight Eggman back in the day. Just somehow the world just gets taken over. Yeah. That's my forced tangent.